In this segment of our series, we'll focus on India and its drive to be a global player. Rick, India sees itself as more than just a regional power. How long has that been the case?
I suppose it really began around the turn of the last century when India was pushing for its own independence and really pressed out to find like-minded countries, countries that have been colonized, to try to find support them as well. And even after independence, to try to find countries that didn't want to become embedded in the Cold War and align themselves either with the United States or the Soviet Union. So trying to find a bit of a middle path.
But it also feels like India is very careful not to get too closely aligned with the United States.
Well, you've got rhetoric that makes it sound like they desire that. But if you look in practice, I think about it in the three main buckets: on defense relations, on people-to-people ties, and on economic commercial ties. They are by far the most entrenched in the U.S. when you think about economic relationships. We're the largest export destination for goods, the largest export destination for services, the largest source of foreign investment. So on the economic side, we are the most integrated. On defense, Russia has had a primary role as a major supplier of defense equipment, but the United States over time has been supplanting. But if you look at the numbers, whether it's commercial, people-to-people, and increasing on the military, we are the partner of choice. So sometimes the numbers don't quite match up with the rhetoric perfectly.
We hear a lot about India wanting to reform the global order. How does India think about the challenge of, on the one hand, reforming the global order, and on the other hand, benefiting from the global order?
There's only going to be 3 massive economies in the world, and India's going to be one of them. That's not 10 generations away. It's a generation away. And they don't want to wait for that. They want to get their place at the tables they think that they've been kind of excluded from so far, have a larger say in the Bretton Woods institutions. They love a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. They want these kind of standards as a way to show that they are indeed a major power.
India's played a large role in the BRICS organization. Where does India want to take BRICS? What's their vision?
I consider BRICS to be a bit like a fallback or a running car that isn't yet moving anywhere. They want to keep it gassed up and ready to go, just in case partnership with the United States goes in dangerous directions, partnership with Europe or something like that. And if they need a second vehicle to help them meet their own goals in terms of economic development, military cooperation, things like that, BRICS is something that they can slide into relatively easily. And if India says go, I think it's got a much higher chance of moving.